Hello, welcome to Signalysis. I am Neil Coleman, the president. We've been in business for 22 years, and throughout those 22 years we've had a long history of successful relationships with Brüel & Kjær. Starting back in the 1987 era when we were interfacing to the 2032 and 2034 analyzers, working with the 2144, working with 7107, and the 2526. Our most successful interface has been to the B&K Pulse system, starting back in 1994, when we first introduced Production Test Advisor, or PTA, in North America. With the success of and work by Robert Trepanier, Jim Wyatt, Marty Gerald, and others at B&K, we've had many installations of production test systems throughout North America, Canada, Brazil, and Mexico. Just recently, Signalysis has signed a resale agreement with B&K to allow PTA, Production Test Advisor, to be distributed throughout the entire world of Brüel & Kjær. We're very excited to start working with each individual country on sales opportunities and support of applications. Jim Thompson has asked me to take a few moments and introduce you to some of the applications Signalysis has worked on with PTA. One of them being the steering column test, where there's two motors that drive the steering column for tilt, and then another motor for driving it for telescope in and out. Throughout that process, sometimes it'll make a growling noise, sometimes there'll be ticking noises, and so forth, and an NVH experience that the driver does not enjoy. Other would be the window wiper test. Other applications we worked on are turbochargers, superchargers, transmission tests, transfer cases, oil pumps, fuel pumps, just a whole myriad of automotive applications. In other industries, there's been applications such as washing machines, dishwashers, dryers. In the medical industry, there's situations with X-ray tubes, bearing testing in that environment, and so forth. So the applications are really broad and across very many industries. Another application Signalysis has been involved with has been testing CPU fans. The faster they're running, the hotter they're getting. So the massive heat sink and fan that's required to keep them cool is causing vibration issues and noise issues for the home PC market and the server market. One of the problems that we ran into is just an imbalance of the fans that just generate too much noise and too much vibration. Customers will send us several fans, we'll run them through the test and provide a test methodology on how to do production tests. So the computer market and fan market throughout Asia is huge, so be looking in those areas for opportunities. Another application we were involved with, I mentioned before, is HVAC systems. This is the whole unit that sits under the dashboard of your vehicle. Inside here are going to be louvers that open and close based on the direction and the speed in which the air is flowing. We have, through the system and through the interface to the pulse, we can interface and find encoder data to tell angle and speed of which those fans, those louvers open as a path and go, no go. So it's more of a function test than just an NVH test. You can see there's also the fans and the fan motors that are also tested back, the fan and fan motors back in the back of the unit. This is another application that we're recently working on. These are crankshafts for a vehicle. It turns out that the crankshaft itself has, and during the manufacturing process, they have some porosity issues kind of buried inside here, which weakens the crankshaft, and so forth. When it under, within the first 100,000 miles or first several thousand miles, the crankshaft will break inside the vehicle, causing major warranty complaints and problems, for the customer, obviously. One method we use to detect these is through an impact test. We can impact the product and measure the modes of deflection. When we find weakness in the product, that changes the frequency characteristics, the frequency response and the modal parameters of the crankshaft itself. We can identify those weak shifts in frequency and do a go, no go based on those changes. Another product and application we have is a vacuum cleaner, kind of an industrial level vacuum cleaner. Customers have been complaining that he's been receiving components from his customer, from his supplier, that makes ticking and whining noise and so forth. And the customer asked us if we could figure out what it is and provide a go, no go solution for the manufacturing line. What they did was they sent us several of these vacuum cleaner systems with the motors. The motor inside is more like this. You can see the intake and so forth and exhaust. And buried inside it, are obviously some bearings with the electric motor. We've identified, knowing the bearing geometry and so forth, that the frequencies that we hear are bearing related. We're able to put together a test system that as it spins up, we can track those bearing defects and then put a go, no go solution, similar to what you saw in the quick demonstration, that if that bearing noise exists, we can fail the unit and at the motor component level, therefore saving the customer the expense of building this into the larger vacuum cleaner housing, and also making sure that their customers do not get units with defective bearings.